Hello dear students, how are you? Today we will discuss worksheet number 41 class 9th science force and laws of motion, third law of motion. Jigyasa Didi, you told me that force always exists in pairs that works in opposite direction on two different objects, but why is it so? Gyan, it is true that force always exists in pair and both oppose each other. This is in accordance with the third law of motion. According to the third law of motion, when an object exerts a force on another object, the second object also exerts a force back on the first object. These two forces, opposing forces, are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. First force is called as action and second force is called reaction. That is, when we kick a football, we apply action force on it due to which it moves away, but at the same time the football also applies same force on our foot due to which we may hurt or feel pain. Third law of motion. To every action there is an equivalent opposite reaction and they act on two different bodies. Let us consider two spring balance A and B connected together as shown in figure. Fix the upper end of the spring balance A to a fixed end on a table or wall. Keep them horizontally and pull the upper end of the spring balance by hand. We notice that the reading of the force in both the balance is same but opposite in direction. In this setup, the amount of action force applied by A on B is equal to the reaction for applied by B on A. Some uses of third law of motion in our daily life. Get harmed when players collide each other in the game. Can be able to walk on a path. Action होता हमारा foot pushes down and back. Reaction होती है floor pushes up and forward. यानी हम पीछे की तरफ धकेलते हैं फ्लोर को तो फ्लोर हमें आगे की तरफ धकेल देता है. Recoiling of gun when bullet is fired from it. यानी गन पीछे की तरफ झटका लगता है गन को जब हम फायर करते हैं. मूविंग ऑफ ए रॉकेट इन फॉरवर्ड डायरेक्शन ऑन इग्निशन. जब रॉकेट में आग लगाई जाती है इग्निशन होता है यानी गैसेस बाहर निकलती हैं तो रॉकेट विपरीत दिशा में ऊपर जाता है. आप दिवाली वाले रॉकेट को भी देख सकते हैं. जब रॉकेट में से गैसेस बाहर आती हैं तो वो मूव करता है फॉरवर्ड. The boat moves backward when sailor jumps in forward direction, bouncing back of player by trampoline. When he jumps on it, the ball gets reflected back when we hit it to the wall. Let's start questions now. Write third law of motion. Third law states that for every action force in nature there is an equal and opposite reaction. In other words, if object A exerts a force on object B, then object B also exerts an equal and opposite force on object A. Question number 2. Shall we ever be able to write if the force we apply on pen is not reverted back by the paper? Why? We shall never be able to write if the force we apply on pen is not reverted by the paper because we can only write on paper. When paper apply friction on pen as a reaction force means we can write only because of friction. Question number 3. Why does a soldier hold rifle on his shoulder before firing bullet from it? According to the third law of motion, the rifle blows backward after firing the bullet, so a soldier holds the rifle on his shoulder before firing a bullet. Question number 4. Write 3 uses of the third law of motion in our daily life. 1. Walk on the path we can walk. Writing with a pen on the notebook. Bounce of the ball in cricket or any other. Explain the process of walking with the help of Newton's third law of motion. Newton's third law states that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. This is relevant to walking because when you put your foot on the ground, you are applying a force to it. In doing this, the ground also actually applies an equal force onto your foot in the opposite direction, pushing you forward.